Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in today on a great viewer question, and that is to discuss the religious narcissist. The narcissist who has gravitated to the field of religion in order to really have a rapt attention or a captive audience for whom to gather their supply. So when you are looking at and read books on narcissists and some of the fields that they tend to gravitate to, and this will include also those individuals who are psychopathic, these are individuals just like you and I. In other words, these people, need and have different levels of intellect, different areas with which they feel driven or called to or find a good place for them to fit in and belong. And studies have shown that especially those people who are psychopathic tend to gravitate to the higher level or, the C-level suite, the CEO level, the business owner, the director of sort of positions because, they will do whatever's required to climb the ladder. The Sociopath Next Door, Snakes in Suits. These two books, Snakes in Suits by Dr. Robert Hare, great book that discusses just this. And so they will find themselves doing whatever it takes to get the deal. They will say whatever, they will lie through their tongue to say whatever it is to get the deal, or, but yet has nothing to do with reality. And like someone who witnessed a psychopath says, saying it does not make it so. So for example, to be completely bankrupt in your business and to say that you're a billionaire, and to have this in print as such, that would be an example of someone who is of a personality disorder, so where they do not feel a problem with lying, on big, huge scale. So most people would not feel comfortable making huge lies, lying in court, lying on oath, lying on a business, lying on their spreadsheet. Most people, that would make them sick to their stomach to violate, especially when it comes to interactions or things of that nature. I heard a viewer say exactly that a psychopath, relationships are transactional in nature. So it's just, it's just business for them. If they have to say, we've got this and this, in stock and they don't have it, if it's to get the deal, they don't have a problem with saying it. Most people, one cardinal rule of business is, under promise and over deliver, So, but with integrity, in other words, you wouldn't say or misrepresent yourself or your company or whatever it is, that you have. Yeah, we have software that can do this when you have no software. Yeah, we've got an oil drill over here and there is no oil well. Things of that nature, Securities Exchange Commission, they will investigate this. Here in the United States. It's a government enforcement branch of the government. And then, in the religious fields, so they tend to also gravitate towards the finance, towards the actors. These people are natural actors. Those individuals who are malignant, narcissists, or psychopaths, they are your actors. So they can memorize a lot of lines. They can memorize a lot of characters. They can go into character. And that doesn't mean that everybody who can go into character is personality disordered. It's just that these individuals can do this very easily, better than the most. A lot of people would have a lot of difficulty just impersonating somebody for a lot of their lives. They would begin to have a disconnect and feel like, I want to live my life. And there's all sorts of actors who have gone through that and they're like, I just want to grill some chicken and put my shorts on. I just want to have a normal life. They want to be the real them. But for a narcissist or a psychopath, they do this on a a daily level. And so, especially also in religion where they have people who are completely in a vulnerable state. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to adjust this. People who are, they seek, the easy pickings. People who are in a vulnerable state, who would be non-suspecting. So what a perfect place for a narcissist or a psychopath to set up their con shop, or take advantage of people when there is they are vulnerable and they would be the most unsuspecting, i.e. the fields of being a doctor, being a priest, finding themselves religious advocates. They can become very extremist. So especially those people who go off the deep end or who are very extreme, they can find themselves surrounded by people who are very vulnerable, who are looking for help, emotional support, spiritual support, and perhaps having sickness, who are weak physically. And so these are the easiest people to manipulate. So they're going to find themselves in these fields where they can easily get their supply, find their targets. The easier to break down is like easy pickings for them. And so, if you look at books like Snakes in Suits, or read, some of the studies, like the character example Skip in the Sociopath Next Door, Dr. Martha Stout, she'll talk about how these people who are psychopathic, can do the horrible without feeling horrible. And so, where most people would be like, that's wrong, like, I'm not doing that. They don't have, someone who is psychopathic doesn't have that experience. They don't tell themselves, no, I should not go into that office, it's locked. Like, if, in other words, they would not violate boundaries, professional boundaries. And then also those people who are religious, they can be, very much fanatical and very strong in their opinions, so they can then take over and then brainwash a congregation or gaslight a congregation or do whatever. In other words, become the authority very easily because it's a good flock, an easy flock to herald. And so I don't really have any other specific examples of such, but general research in the field does say as such. So if you think about it, it does make sense. So you have to be careful of that, and then realize that that's why we hear about all these things in the news, is eventually people get found out. So realize that it's when they're unsuspecting and with a population that is of a specific vulnerability or need or weakness, looking for guidance, that they would then find these people to be easily molded or easily taken advantage of, and that they would then begin to fill that need in their life very rapidly. So that's what a psychopath is adept at. When we talk about psychopathic, they're very easily able to see with their own eyes where the quote unquote weakness or vulnerability is within most people, because they study body language, they study their interests very keenly, and they have a way to overpower them and give them what they need. In other words, fill that need of vulnerability or loneliness or isolation, and then exploit on that, and then violate boundaries with such. So it's very important to disengage with these people. If you have found these, that they're really not true, people of heart or truly trying to help people. So it can be very sad. So, I hope this video does help. Please share and please subscribe. It's your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Have a beautiful day.